Why are blue eyes common in Western populations? The prevalence of blue eyes among Western populations can be explained through a combination of genetics, evolutionary history, and geographical factors. Here's a detailed breakdown of why blue eyes are more common in these groups. 1. The genetics of eye color. Eye color is determined by the amount of melanin pigment present in the iris, which is controlled by genes. The primary gene responsible for eye color is OCA2, which regulates melanin production. The color of your eyes depends on how much melanin is produced in the iris, with brown eyes having the most melanin, blue eyes having very little, and other colors like green and hazel falling somewhere in between. The OCA2 gene is located on chromosome 15, and its role is crucial in the production of melanin. There's a specific mutation within the HERC2 gene, which regulates OCA2, that leads to reduced melanin production in the iris, causing the blue eye color. Essentially, people with blue eyes have a version of this gene that limits the amount of melanin in their eyes. 2. Evolution and the origin of blue eyes. Genetic research suggests that blue eyes originated from a single genetic mutation that occurred around 6,000 to 10,000 years ago in a single individual, likely in Europe. This mutation caused a reduction in melanin production in the iris, which resulted in blue eyes. Interestingly, all people with blue eyes today share a common ancestor with this mutation. The mutation spread across Europe through genetic drift, random fluctuations in gene frequencies, and possibly sexual selection. Over generations, blue-eyed individuals may have been more likely to mate with others who had the same mutation, leading to the gene becoming more common. Since the mutation provided no immediate survival advantage, it became more prevalent in certain populations due to the isolation of early human groups. 3. Geographical distribution of blue eyes. The frequency of blue eyes is highest in Northern Europe, particularly in regions like Finland, Estonia, and parts of Scandinavia, as well as in countries such as Germany, the UK, and the Netherlands. This is primarily because these populations are more likely to carry the blue eye gene due to their shared ancestry. Over time, as human populations in Europe evolved and settled in these northern regions, the trait for blue eyes became more common in those areas, especially in populations that remained isolated and were not exposed to frequent gene flow from other regions. In contrast, people from regions near the equator, where sunlight is more intense, tend to have darker eye colors, such as brown, which helps protect against harmful ultraviolet UV radiation. This difference in eye color may have been influenced by the need for greater protection from UV light in sunnier regions. 4. Genetics and inheritance of blue eyes. Eye color is inherited in a Mendelian fashion, which means it follows predictable patterns based on dominant and recessive genes. The gene for brown eyes, which is dominant, tends to override the gene for blue eyes, which is recessive. For a person to have blue eyes, they must inherit two copies of the blue eye allele, one from each parent. In populations where blue eyes are common, the probability of two blue-eyed parents producing blue-eyed children is much higher, especially in Northern European populations, where blue eyes are more frequent. However, because blue eyes are recessive, they are rare in regions where brown eyes are more common. 5. Why blue eyes became prevalent in the West. The spread of blue eyes in Western populations is often attributed to genetic isolation in Europe after the last ice age. During this period, humans in Northern Europe may have faced low light conditions and other environmental factors that may have influenced the evolution of lighter skin and blue eyes. Lighter skin would help people in northern latitudes absorb more UV radiation to produce vitamin D in areas where sunlight was scarce, and blue eyes might have evolved in tandem with these traits due to genetic drift and sexual selection. The cultural importance of appearance may also have played a role. In some societies, individuals with unique physical traits, such as blue eyes, may have been considered attractive, increasing the likelihood that those with blue eyes would reproduce and pass on their traits. 6. Theories of sexual selection and genetic drift. Sexual selection may have also contributed to the spread of blue eyes in Europe. In early human history, certain traits were often perceived as attractive, and this could have led to individuals with blue eyes having more reproductive success. Over time, this would have contributed to the proliferation of the trait in populations where blue eyes were rare at first. Genetic drift, which refers to the random change in the frequency of traits over generations, is also an important factor. For example, a small group of humans might have been isolated due to environmental factors like geography, and within this group, the blue eye mutation could have spread through successive generations simply by chance. In conclusion, Western populations are more likely to have blue eyes because of a combination of genetic mutations, evolutionary history, and geographical factors. The mutation that causes blue eyes likely emerged in a common ancestor thousands of years ago and spread in Northern Europe through genetic drift and sexual selection. The result is that today, blue eyes are more common in these populations compared to others worldwide. Like and subscribe for more fascinating insights into human genetics and evolution.